And this is BGFH. Welcome back to Legally Cited, and today I'm back here for another hardware review. Got a couple cases right in front of me here, and then what we're going to look at today is the Mophie Juice Pack Plus for the iPhone 4S and the iPhone 5. I have both cases right here in front of me. And what we got here, these are battery cases for the iPhone. So there are models available both for the 4S, the 5, and I believe the 5S and the 5C have cases as well now. So I'll show you the one with the 4S in there right now first. It's just a regular case. It protects the phone a little bit, and the nice thing is that it has an extra battery in it. So I can get a whole, typically I'd have to charge the phone somewhere in the middle of the day. And now I can actually just, middle of the day comes in, I get my my phone is running low, I can just hit a switch and give my phone some extra juice. So this is the 4S version of the case. Along the left side here, you've got your volume buttons right here, up and down, down, up, and your lock switch. Now this design, you have to kind of dig your finger in there a little bit to be able to use your lock switch, but there you go. That works. All those work very well, not a problem. On the top you have your headphone jack and your power button, and the power button works fine, but I'm not particularly keen on the headphone jack here because it only really works with really small headphones. So the end on them, if you have like the iPhone ones that come with the iPhone, like the earbuds there that you get, those work, but most other 3.5-inch won't work just because the rubber part, right up by the tip there is too wide and it won't fit in there. So I don't remember if the 4S case does come with a little cord adapter, but I know the iPhone 5 model does. So if you are using a headset, wired headset or headphones, you will be covered there, at least with the 5 out of the box. On the right hand side, nothing really here until you get to the bottom. Now here you have a micro USB port. Both cases use the micro USB port to charge both your phone battery and the case. So when I plug it in at night before I go to bed, I wake up in the morning and I don't have to worry. Everything, the phone itself is charged, and so is the battery inside of the case. Another thing that I don't like particularly about the 4S model is where this USB plug is. So because it's right near the edge, it's not even really on the flat part of the phone or flat side of the case. I find sometimes that it's a little bit hard for, like, the micro USB cord doesn't always want to stay in there all the time, so it gets a little loose, or it just doesn't want to really sit in there as well. So it's a little bit finicky there, I've found. But other than that, it does work generally pretty well. On the bottom you have a few LED lights and a button. If I hit the button, you notice they light up, and that tells me how much juice I have in my juice pack. So right now we've got a full battery. Life is good. Hit it one more time just to show you. There you go, lights up. One thing I forgot to mention on the other side here, the left side, is there is a physical switch. So right now the case is actually on, and if I were to turn my phone on,
5:05 p.m. Oriented. 87% battery power. Charging. Status
and
bar
it
item.
says charging because I have the case on. As far as my phone is concerned, it's plugged in. And I could just flick the switch. Come on. Flick it up.
5:05 p.m.
And now it is no longer charging, or it thinks it's no longer charging. So the way I use it is basically I let the battery run down to 5 or 10%, turn the case on, charge it all the way back up again, and then turn my case off again. And usually I have a little bit of juice left in the case, so then I run my phone down one more time. And if I really need to, I can actually just charge it a little bit, not a full charge, but again, I can do it a little bit more. The way you put them together, you notice that it's got this seam here all the way around. This top piece just slides apart. You slide the main phone into the big part of the case here, and then you just slide the other part together, snaps in, and it works really well. You really don't have to worry about it coming apart or coming loose, because it does take a little bit of force to get these things apart. So your phone is nicely secured in there. Moving along to the iPhone 5 case, very similar in design with a few exceptions. So instead of the 30-pin connector, you got your lightning connector here, and you notice if I flip it over, the seam is on the bottom. So it's actually just the bottom part that comes apart on the 5S case, or the 5 case. So to accommodate the iPhone 5 that's actually thinner, they've also put the lights, the switch, and the test button right there on the back of the case. So hit it again. I've only got a little bit of juice left in here, so it's going to need to charge pretty soon. But then I have my switch here, which I can also use to turn the case battery on and off. On the top, I've got my power button. Works great. On the right hand side, nothing really. And on the bottom, thankfully, I love this design a lot better. They've put the micro USB port on the bottom right below the lightning connector, so it generally works a lot better than it did on the 4S. It snaps in more securely, and it generally tends to stay there. And again, like before, you've got a really small headphone jack, so it does come with a little cord adapter, you know, like maybe a couple inch cord that you just plug in there, and then you can plug your standard headphones into it. I use Bluetooth most of the time, so it doesn't really matter. But if you want to hook in a speaker system like my Jambox, or if you want to hook in like wired headphones, you're probably going to need an adapter for the most part. And on the left side, you've got your volume controls as usual. And this one actually has a switch on the case, so you don't have to worry about digging your finger in there to mute the phone. I like that design a little bit better. Now on the side here, the volume down button, for whatever reason on my case, I don't know if all the 5 cases are like this, but the down button, it doesn't seem to have as much give as the top one. I don't know if it's just because they're not really quite aligned right when I try to slide it in. But you get a nice satisfying, you know, kind of a click when you are turning the volume up, but you kind of have to hit it a little bit funny, or it feels like you are, and you don't kind of get that satisfying click, 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 like something is happening with the down button. So something I want to make you aware of. I don't know if it's just my phone or if it's the iPhone 5 model of the case in general, but I mean, that said, the volume up and down still do work perfectly fine. I've had no problems actually using it. It's just that the down button feels a little bit different. So that is both cases so far. Differences now. We've got both cases here, and both cases have kind of a plasticky, rubbery finish. The 4S version is a little bit more rubbery, I would say, to the touch overall. This one, the 5 case, is a little bit more plasticky, but I love the band that is around the iPhone 5 version of the Mophie case, because it actually is really nice. It's got this nice rubbery grip, so you know, neither of them are really that bad as far as, like, you know, they're pretty slip resistant. I can hold them comfortably in one hand perfectly fine. But I do like the actual little rubber grip on the iPhone 5 version a little bit better. Both cases do add a little bit of weight to your phone. I would say the 4S version more so. That seems to add quite a little bit of heft to it. But the battery, if you really want a lot more battery, that is worth the trade-off in my opinion. The iPhone 5 case does seem a little bit lighter on its own, and I'm glad for that. Now, here is the main difference between these two cases. So the iPhone 4S case, you can both of them. You can charge both your phone and the case by plugging it into your micro USB. Not a problem. The 4S case, you can also do your iTunes sync, your backups, all that kind of stuff through your computer without taking the phone out of the case. Not a problem. With the iPhone 5 case, though, for whatever reason, they decided that they couldn't or wouldn't have that feature. So if you do want to regularly sync to iTunes and do that kind of stuff, transfer things back and forth via iTunes, you will have to take your phone out of the case and use your standard Lightning connector. So that may be a deal breaker to some people who do use iTunes a lot, me not being one of them, so it really doesn't bother me much. I'm primarily buying it for the battery, but if you do use iTunes a lot for transfers and syncs and stuff like that, keep that in mind for the iPhone 5 case. Battery life in general, both I have the Mophie Juice Pack Plus here for both devices, and I believe they're a 2100 milliamp battery, so you get quite a bit of extra juice for your money in there. And Mophie does also have the Mophie Juice Pack Air and the Mophie Juice Pack Helium, which do offer a little bit cheaper prices, but again, a little bit less battery power for your money. So it's up to you what you want. If you want to save a few bucks and get a little less powerful battery, or you want to spend a little bit extra money and get the more battery. So I was going purely for, I really wanted a lot more battery, so let's go with the top. Price-wise, you want to hunt around a little bit in the store and online. I purchased both of these for about 99 bucks. The Air and the Helium are probably between like 69 and 79, or 79 and 89, I forget which. But so you'll save a few bucks with those, but when I looked at the iPhone 5 version, it was 120 bucks on Mophie's site and 99 on Amazon. So like I said, I would just advise you to do a little bit of price checking, a little bit of hunting, to make sure you get a pretty good deal on wherever you're buying the case from. So that is a rough overview of the Mophie Juice Pack Plus for the iPhone 4S and the 5. I highly recommend both cases. They work very well and do just what they advertise. A couple little minuses on the 4S case as far as the mainly the USB, but it does have the syncing capability, whereas the 5 one has the better connection, but you can't sync and you have to actually take the phone out. So those are a couple of main differences I want you guys to remember. So hope you guys found this helpful, and until next time, we'll wrap it up here, and I will talk to you guys again later.